If you have lettuce at 50 rupees, you have lettuce at 120 rupees, right? You will go for the 50 rupees lettuce because it looks similar to the 120 rupees lettuce. Not
Mm.
very similar. Of course, the 120 rupees lettuce
Mm.
looks a little more, better, clean, and a lot that. I'll just something for newcomers.
Yeah.
Just Google hydroponics.
Uh,
Every number which you get, try it out before giving up.
correct. Correct.
That's how I
Absolutely.
found Guru, sir.
Absolutely.
I think it's very important,
Yeah, yeah, very important. Yeah, recording is very important, as you said,
extremely important.
rightfully. Logging and values you have to maintain so that it'll become your teacher. It'll show you
Absolutely.
how to grow better next time. So
So last
now,
summer's recording I saw this summer. I mean, last summer's
yeah, yeah.
TDS
Mm.
PH I saw this summer. And
Wow,
last summer my produce didn't go well. So this summer
wow.
I used that to change that a little bit. And this time during April, May, when Bangalore was struggling, all
Yeah,
hydroponics farmers were struggling.
yeah.
That time I had good produce. So
Amazing, amazing.
initially it's a pain, your plants die and you don't know what's happening. Like
Yeah,
especially in the initial stages, your plants are very, very fragile, right? You
correct.
do one mistake and your plants are dead,
True.
absolutely dead. Like you sleep and next day morning you're seeing that they are irrecoverable. So those things
Right.
also have happened with me,
Yeah.
and that will happen to everybody. And all you need to do is not get disheartened and just move forward.
Yeah, namaskara to all Belesiri Balaga, and today we are meeting Anmol. Anmol, thank you so much for joining this session. So this session we do, to give an understanding to newcomers, in hydroponics and how people struggle, and they will be wondering how to do this, do that, whether to do big scale, small scale, and all. So we want to understand more such things from you because you started from you are a chartered accountant, and you started something different, which you never thought of or something. Let's try to understand from you. Please introduce yourself and tell us why you came to this hydroponics world.
So first of all, thank you, Guru sir, for having me. It's always a pleasure talking to you, whether it's an interview or just a face-to-face conversation. And just to introduce myself, I'm a chartered accountant. I'm also a professor in data analytics. I don't do anything related to CA. I work as a data analyst and I'm a professor of data analytics. I have my own firm for that. So that is one thing. And secondly, I'm also a very passionate farmer now. And that started, 2.5 years back. There was a
Mm.
friend of mine. He used to build these small setups and sell it on Amazon. And it really intrigued me. He was a really good friend of mine. He used to share all these things with me. And
Mhm.
it used to really, um it was a very interesting proposition. And
Yeah.
anything interesting, I, dive into it to explore it at least. So I went ahead, I, created a small system on my terrace, a really small one, a
Mm.
25-30 planter. I
Yeah.
grew in that. It was really nice. I mean, the kind of quality which I got was approved by my parents. They told me that when they were younger, that's the
Mm.
kind of quality food they got from their farms, from, their nearby farms. So
Wow.
that was a
Mhm.
validation for me that, this
Mm.
is the this is something which needs to change. And
Yeah.
then suddenly, there was a talk which I heard from somebody, and that person told that quality of life would dependent on three things. Okay, it's quality of life is not having a swimming pool at home. It's about the quality of food you eat, the quality of air you breathe, and the water you drink. Right?
Correct.
Hydroponics, trust me, in my opinion, solves the problem of the food we eat. Now, air
Mm.
and water, of course, it's a different topic altogether. But if you can solve one problem, why not? Right?
Yeah.
So I started with a very noble thought and a passion. So I started growing my own plants. They were like my own babies. So,
Mm.
once you start loving the plants, you really can't give up. Like,
True.
even if I'm not a successful hydroponic farmer in the future, hopefully
Mm.
not, I will not stop farming. Okay, because it's the kind of passion which uh, it's um you completely get inside it, right?
Correct.
So once I started growing, I really liked the produce and everything. Then I wanted to test out the market.
Mm.
So I developed a huge system, a 2000 planter on my terrace itself.
Mm.
It's in 500 square feet approximately. It's a very small system. I'm a very small person in the hydroponic field right now,
Yep.
but the quality of growth is really good. The produce quantity is also good because I'm using 10 layers in an A frame in an FT.
Mm.
I also use grow bags, and I have a small DWC as well. A very small setup again, but this is what I do currently. And yes, over to you.
Yeah. So, I mean, the first challenge that you faced, right? And I remember when you came to me, it was the setup was ready, and you were having lots of issues with the setup. And
Leak and everything.
it's
Yes.
not like we'll take the name of a person or something, but the real challenges that we face, no, when we get the setup done, we are not getting the support that we need. And then you
True.
said you need my help. So that's how we
Right.
got connected, right? So what were those problems? Can you explain? I mean,
So I think, see, you can get the best quality pipes, you can get the best quality,
yeah.
ingredients, which I had done. I mean, the sourcing, I had personally gone and seen what the kind of materials we are going to be using and everything. The materials were good, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the problem was the execution. So the plumbing person who came in, he did his job, but probably even they are new to the market. Will not,
Mm,
defame anybody as such. They're probably new to the market. They
mm.
didn't understand the
True.
dynamics in which it is going to work, right?
Yeah.
So I had a lot of leakage problems in the beginning.
Yeah.
So approximately for 2.5 months, I tried to solve it, and I was not able to. And I tried different things. I leveled it properly. I did a lot of things with the pipes, but it didn't work out. Then I got to know about Guru Sir at that time. So,
Okay.
I thought that, what, I'll take some hands-on experience from Guru Sir first
Yeah.
and then try it out. Leaking problem, we'll see later.
Yeah.
So I came for your classes then for 4 5 days. We had a very good time there. So I learned a lot of things, how to grow, how to take care of them. We learned a lot of technical details.
Right.
And Guru Sir only recommended me a person who could come and get my farm started initially. So
Right.
came in, he put the silicon and everything, and he, got it running up and running.
True.
So that's how it started off.
Yeah.
So the challenges were there,
Yeah.
and you need to be up for it. You need to find solutions to it. And my solution
True.
was Guru Sir.
Thank you. So, I mean, that's what the very newcomers do that mistake, right? I mean,
Right.
we go by a system. So, I mean, Anmol thought A-frames because maybe he thought, he'll save the time. I mean, the space.
Absolutely.
You'll grow more things in less space. But for a very newcomer, it might be a big because he was dealing with. I mean, you are dealing with leakage issues than the growing issues, right?
Correct.
The growth was not there at all. The things were when you switch on the pump, it was all leaking, and you could not even grow anything. So that's why we normally recommend people to start with grow bags. So at least you get some good growth and fast results, and then
Confidence.
you can go
Yeah.
to the next level kind of. So
True.
were you repenting at that stage, when you did the A-frame? I'll also show the A-frames in this video and to the viewers. Were you repenting that, I could have done something else or something like that, or you're very fixed in your mind that,
See, when I started hydroponics, no, two
yeah,
and a half, 3 years back, I got
yeah,
to know about it. That time, I didn't even know that hydroponics is something other than NFT. I thought
yeah.
NFT is hydroponics, right?
Okay.
Because the information available is very less,
Yeah,
and the number of people who actually know things are very less.
yeah.
Trust me, if you ask me, am I a person who knows everything about hydroponics? I will say a no. And if any person other than Guru Sir who says yes, they are probably like me. Okay. I'm just There are a lot of good players, of course, but
Mm,
most of the people, they think that they are doing it right, but they are not. I
right.
thought that I was doing it right at that time when
Yeah,
NFT. I'm a very confident person. If I think that okay, NFT is right, I think it is right. That means it's right. Okay,
yeah.
but over a period of time, you mature a little more, right?
Yes.
So of course, I think that if I would have started with DWC and grow bags,
Mm,
it would have started off better. But also
mm,
one more thing, what I think is what NFT is the toughest method of growing.
mm.
And if I've cracked that, I can do anything else. So
Correct.
in a way, if you see, it was a boon for me. I struggled in the beginning. Now I'm enjoying it.
Easy. Yeah.
So I think what in my experience, if I would have started from grow bags and deep water cultures,
Yeah.
going to NFT would have been difficult. It would have
Mm,
been a
mm.
mental block for me that is difficult. So I struggled in the beginning, and now I'm enjoying because
Right.
from NFT doing more of grow bags, doing DWCs is very easy. Trust me. It
Super.
was a cakewalk for me to implement the grow bags and DWCs.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, thankfully he has patience, right? As many people would have stopped at that stage and sold that those pipes and all to garbage or something because he stick to it. He tried his best. He approached me and he did whatever best he can. So that's what we expect from all the newcomers, right? So
I
what all you
think
have
whenever
grown so
you,
far, Anmol?
I
Yeah.
mean, just before that, I'll just something for newcomers.
Yeah.
Just Google hydroponics.
Uh,
Every number which you get, try it out before giving up.
correct. Correct.
So that's how I
Absolutely.
found Guru sir.
Absolutely.
So
And what all you have grown so far? In your
see, I
system?
initially started off with something as basic as spinach.
Hmm.
My initial plan was, of course, to do I forgot haldi, turmeric. Okay.
Turmeric. Okay.
So my initial plan was also turmeric. I tried turmeric in a big grow bag as well initially, but that
Hmm.
didn't work out for me. Probably
Hmm.
that time I was very less experienced as well.
Hmm.
And apparently for turmeric, you need very high curcumin levels, which are present only in the Lakadong turmeric
Hmm.
which you get, not in
Right.
every turmeric. So that is
Right.
something which I dropped by just doing one cycle. The the produce was there. I used it at home. It was good,
Hmm.
but I didn't continue further with it.
Yeah.
So I started with spinach again in the NFT.
Hmm.
I grew a full cycle of basil. Like it almost gave me it's a multi-cut plant. So it gave
Hmm.
me good 6 to 8 months of produce at one go.
Hmm.
And I used to dry it and, sell it and all these things. I've tried oregano again,
Okay.
half basil and half oregano in my systems.
Yeah.
Recently, I've also moved to lettuce.
Hmm.
So I have three types of lettuce. That is your green lettuce, butter red, and red lettuce. Done a lot of microgreens, of course, and I've started cherry tomatoes and capsicum as well. So
Okay.
these are the things which I've done. Right now. Currently, I have basil in one
Hmm.
A frame. I have arugula in one, and
Hmm.
two of them I have lettuce, all three types mixed.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how I've. These are the things which I've tried and tested, and made a note in the logs which you've given me of all
That's nice. Nice.
the.
You are a very sincere
Yeah.
student.
I
So,
think it's very important.
yeah, yeah, very important. Yeah, recording is very important, as you said,
Extremely important.
rightfully.
Yeah.
Logging and values you have to maintain so that it'll become your teacher. It'll show you
Absolutely.
how to grow better next time. So,
So last summer's recording I saw this summer. I mean, last summer's
yeah, yeah.
TDS
Hmm.
PH I saw this summer, and
Wow,
last summer my produce didn't go well. So this summer
wow.
I used that to change that a little bit, and this time during April, May when Bangalore was struggling, all
Yeah,
hydroponics farmers were struggling. That
yeah.
time I had good produce. So
Amazing, amazing.
and I
Super.
also have a very good shade net, sprinkler, everything is
Uh-huh.
automated. So
Amazing.
I've worked on a lot of automation as well, right? So
Wow.
the sprinkler, last year, what is the duration of the sprinkler I had done? I had noted
Hmm.
down everything. Every
Hmm.
30 minutes I had sprinkler last year. This
Okay.
year, because the temperatures were higher, I did every 15 minutes for 5 seconds. So I
Wow.
had set the timers that way, and I had set the water pump as well that way, right? So
Amazing.
the frequency increased, and because frequency increased, me going and checking the TDS and pH also increased. Right.
Amazing.
So I had done a lot of, I had learned a lot from the previous year, and that was possible because of logging.
Wow.
Logging, guys, it's extremely important. Like I'm
Amazing.
a small
Amazing.
farmer, but I can vouch for it like a big farmer.
Amazing. A very great takeaway from this interview, I guess. This is
Absolutely.
very important
Yes.
point. People should understand this. And
Very true.
yeah, so see, that's how you get better and better. And also, uh, each place is different. Within Bangalore, my place is different, and your place is different, and each season is different. So temperature is different. Oh my God. So you have to change a lot according to, you have to give comfort levels to the plants. So, so yeah, just like we do comfort levels to ourselves, right? AC and everything. So we have to do it for plants also. So amazing. So what else? What all other challenges you faced? While growing. First leakage problem was there, and you fixed it. And after you started growing, and then I remember you started having some. You sent me a picture, and I said, it's very deficient, right? So
Correct.
that kind of problems, can you explain what you faced?
So see, initially, I think you have to get the NPK right. Correct.
Hmm.
So you need to get the balance of that in what proportion it needs to be put in. I mean,
Right.
see, you might get the reference guides from Google and from Guru sir, but
Yeah.
those are reference guides. You can use corporation water, you can use borewell water. So your entire, a little bit of that changes,
Yeah.
your NPK and everything. So initially, of course, lot of trial and error went into it. I used to, increase, decrease calcium, potassium, and all the macronutrients as well.
Hmm.
Iron, magnesium, zinc, and all these things. I used to increase, decrease. I used to Google, I used to figure out how it can be done.
Mm.
So initially it's a pain, your plants die and you don't know what's happening. Like
Yeah,
especially in the initial stages, your plants are very, very fragile, right? You
correct.
do one mistake and your plants are dead,
True.
absolutely dead. Like you sleep and next day morning you're seeing that they are irrecoverable. So those things
Right.
also have happened with me,
Yeah.
and that will happen to everybody. And all you need to do is not get disheartened and just move forward, because it's part and parcel of farming, right?
True.
And then I grew up from that. Then my plants, I make sure now that my plants don't die at least. But of
Mm.
course deficiencies are still there, and whenever I have deficiencies, I try to Google it, I try to solve it myself, and if I absolutely can't do anything, then I come to Guru sir, send him a photo, I'm like, sir, please help me. So that's
Yeah,
how
yeah,
it
yeah.
works. It's a
True.
challenge, I mean, of course, and that time when I sent you the deficiency, right, you had told
Mm.
me to adjust your pH in a certain way.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was happening was, earlier I was getting corporation water,
Mm-hmm.
but we started filling in even the borewell water, which I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know about. Like
Okay.
my watchman, even started filling borewell water. So when I went to him, I understood where the problem is happening. So because of the borewell water, probably the I'm putting in more nutrients than required.
Yeah.
So you need to be very careful about what
True.
factors are involved in. So you need to always do RCA, that is root cause analysis, like why something is happening. Unless and until you
Yes.
find that out, no, you should not stop. That is
Correct.
something which I've learned.
Correct.
Then this will never happen to you again. Otherwise, it will keep
Correct.
happening. Don't do band-aid solutions.
Yes. Very, very beautiful point. Because, people keep just increasing or decreasing the values, but actually the root cause is something else. And
Absolutely
like something like temperature is changing and you are keep adjusting the nutrient level and pH level and nothing will happen. And this
true.
kind of common sense should come from the grower itself, right? Like,
True.
even though, as you said, maybe you ask me and I tell, what is the value and increase it. But actually, you should also see the other parameters. Rightfully, you did all that. Great. So how do you sell your produce? How you tried selling your produce? And that is
Okay.
another biggest challenge, right?
I think see, growing part you will figure out if you're a
Yeah.
newcomer, or if you're anybody. Growing part, eventually you will
Yes.
give it 6 8 months. You will figure it out for sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you in writing. But the biggest problem is the selling part.
Correct.
Now, India does not understand. India is very price sensitive.
Hmm.
India is price sensitive. Now, if somebody is selling to you something at 50 rupees, okay, let's say lettuce.
Hmm.
If you're getting in the market, if you've gone to the market, if you have lettuce at 50 rupees, you have lettuce at 120 rupees, right? You will go for the 50 rupees lettuce because it looks similar to the 120 rupees lettuce. Not
Hmm.
very similar. Of course, the 120 rupees lettuce
Hmm.
looks a little more, better, clean, and a lot more fresh. But
Hmm.
approximately, uh,
Yeah.
70% your normal produce is also that. You're competing with farmers. It's an agrarian economy we are living in. You're
Yeah.
competing with farmers, which is approximately 50 to 60% of your population. Just imagine how many people you're competing with.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you also have that much more market. You have 140 billion people. You have 140, 1.4 billion people in India. Out of that, the percentage of people who will consume hydroponics is really low,
True.
because price sensitivity comes in. But
Hmm.
as and when people are getting more aware about hydroponics and its quality, and I think there was a recent study done. They had taken, I think, a very well-known researching organization. They had gone to very well-known superstores, taken their organic produce and
Mhm.
tested it, and those were unfit for human consumption when you compare it to European standards.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the big names. I'm not even
Hmm.
talking about the small superstores which are there. I'm talking about the
Hmm.
big names from where we go and buy day in and day out. And they sell it as organic, right?
Wow. Yeah.
Their samples did not pass.
Hmm.
That's the quality which we are consuming. Europeans don't consider them for fit for human consumption.
Yeah.
And that's where, India's health is deteriorating very, very fast and very, very quickly.
True. True.
That's something which I aim to change, of course. But coming back to selling, very small percentage of it will buy your produce. You have to be prepared for that. And there are a lot of players who want to sell to them.
Hmm.
So one thing is you need to go big. Going big means a commercial farm, I will say, you need at least 2 to 3 acres of land on which you
Mm.
can do hydroponics. The reason being, see, these 2 to 3 acres land, you will not find it in Bangalore. Let's say if you're doing Bangalore, you'll not
Mm.
find it in Bangalore. You go outskirts.
Yep.
If you do a small farm, let's say 10,000 square feet, you'll have to transport it to Bangalore and go in different places. If you're building a B2C brand, directly consumer brand, your transportation cost will eat up your margins
True.
if you do a small. But if you do it on a scale, then your transportation cost will not eat up your margins because it's divided among a
Yep.
lot more produce. So you need to go big, and as per my calculations, like I'm a CA, you can trust me on the calculations. So as per my
Yeah.
calculations, you need you need a lot of produce. You need a produce which is coming out of 2 or 3 acre land, which is a commercial farm, and then your transportation cost will not eat you up.
Mm.
The second biggest challenge you're going to face is selling it B2B. B2B
Mm.
players, uh, I have approached through my contact, I've approached the biggest five-star restaurant chain in India. I
Mm.
hope you would have guessed that. I've gone and
Yep.
met the procurement manager there, and they procure basil at dirt cheap rates.
True. True.
Dirt cheap.
Mm.
They don't care about quality. It just should look green. That's all.
Correct.
Trust me. I was shocked to see that. Okay.
Yep.
So uh, you can't, B2B is very difficult. B2B can be many places. You can give it to a distributor directly.
Mm.
You not really recover your cost of hydroponics, of course. You can give it to a different farm. They will sell it to different wholesalers. That definitely won't work out for you.
Yep.
That is like a absolute a loss. It's a loss making venture for you if you're planning that way. The only place where I see hydroponics being profitable is directly giving it to good cafes. Like there are a certain range of
Mm.
cafes which actually care about how what they are giving to their consumers.
Quality. Yeah.
If you can find them, give it to them. That's what I do. And you need to find a B2C market that is directly given to the consumers. I have a small setup on my terrace. So my
Mm.
neighborhood takes away all my produce. I'm good. I'm happy. I
Yep.
give it B2B also. I'm building my B2B also because over a period of time, I want to grow, right? I don't want to be in this 500 square feet hydroponics farm. My plan is to, of course, go big. And when I go big, I'll go really big. And
Yep.
before that, I want to see whether it's profitable or not, right?
True.
So we need to answer a few questions if you want to sell. One is, are there enough cafes which actually want to give good produce to their consumers? Are there enough consumers who can buy all your produce from a
True.
2 to 3 acre hydroponic land? And hydroponic doesn't mean NFT. In that, you'll have a mix of
Yep.
those NFT pipes, grow bags, DWCs, Dutch buckets,
Yep.
etc.
Hybrid.
So hybrid, of course, hybrid
Mm.
works, and
Yeah.
you need to figure out all of that before you go really big. And if you want to build a B2C brand, you need to really make sure that your brand building team is really good. So
Correct.
that's what I'm working on right now. The brand building is something which I have recently come to know about it, and I want to really build that brand so that the B2C market can be tapped by me. That's where
Mm.
the real margins are.
True. True.
So if you're planning B2B, make sure that you're very sure that your cost is really, really low, which
Yeah.
is very difficult in hydroponics
Mm. Mm. Mm.
because your fixed cost is really high of the setup, right?
Absolutely.
And
That's very big.
so these are the challenges which you face. One is transportation, one is finding the right market for yourself.
Yep.
This is what I've been facing. I'm not able to cater to a lot of my consumers because they are far away from me,
Huh. Huh.
and I tell them to dunzo it. Some of them do it also because they want my produce, but you'll find three of them, but those three of them will not run your business, right?
Correct.
So you need to be very careful about the selling part. Very difficult market to enter, and very difficult market to actually sustain.
Yep.
So
Yeah, very, very, very good points. Yeah, definitely you have great experience now by now. I think 2 years, no? More than 2 years, I guess, right?
2.5 year.
2.5 years. So, or you can do micro farms, in different parts of the city. That works much better than having a very big farm, away from Bangalore or away from the city or something. Anyway, I wish you all the best, with your brand building and it'll help Belesiri Balaga also, other
Absolutely.
people also can join you and collaborate with you. And I wish you all the best.
Always open.
But do you think farming is a profitable business? Or
Mm,
let's say hydroponics.
Farming definitely is, but hydroponics, uh, it depends on it depends on you completely. I
For
mean,
yourself.
if you think that you can crack the B2C market, that is
Yeah.
sell directly to consumers by building a brand, then I see potential. I see huge potential. I see a potential also in changing the behavior of a lot of consumers, because
Mm,
once they
mm,
have started consuming my product, they
mm.
come back to me again and again.
Correct.
So if you can keep the quality really, really high, over a period of time, you'll also change the behavior of a lot of consumers. People who
Correct.
used to buy 1 kg from me are buying 1.5, 2 kgs from me in a span of 6 months, because
Makes sense.
first only one family was eating, and their other
Yeah.
family members also started. So it is profitable only if you think that you can tap the B2C market.
Yeah. Very good points. So, in future, you want to take it as a full-time venture, or you just want to do it as a uh, business, when some other business, whatever, I don't know what to call it as.
I think it's a very like before this, no, before starting Toy
Mm,
Library, like along with CA, I've always done something, because I always have this thing
yeah.
to explore new things. So I used to run
Mm.
a toy rental library. So I used to
Uh-huh.
give toys on rent and those
Wow.
board games on rent and everything.
Mhm.
That worked fine. That was working really well. But one thing I realized in that business was it's not scalable. That's why I
Yeah.
recovered my cost and everything, and I, sold it off.
Yeah.
But with hydroponics, what benefit I see is, let's say, even if you're making 5 to 7% of margin,
Mm.
what you can work with is scale. It is
Yeah.
an extremely scalable business, because if you can change the behavior of buying and consuming patterns of
Mm,
consumers,
mm,
which is
mm,
extremely difficult, scalable business, and because it's scalable, you need to make sure that you keep increasing that percentage of people who consume this.
mm, mm.
Like how Geo had done when they had
Yep.
come into the
Yep.
market. They had disrupted the market completely. And
True.
if you
True.
think that you have the disruptive attitude, not the money, if you think you have
Mm.
the disruptive attitude, this is a very, very scalable business. Just
Wow.
imagine 140 billion people is your market, and you have a separate export market which is waiting for you.
Super. Super. Very valid point. So, maybe at the end of the session, so what would you like to tell the newcomers, whoever wants to do hydroponics, who are watching this video? What do you want to suggest them
One
or
thing is,
advise?
don't come in for the money.
Okay.
One thing is, definitely don't come in for the money. If you're coming in for the money, you'll not be able to learn the technical things which are required
Yeah.
initially, which is the hard part. You will
True.
take 6 to 8 months to actually learn about it, right? So if you think that you're passionate about this particular business, if you think you're
Mm.
passionate about actually making a change to how India consumes, let's
Yep.
say, if you think you have that in you, and if you think that you have a backup income source a little bit, like I have,
Yep. Yep.
right? Because initially you'll take time to learn, right? So
Correct.
you need to start earning. You need to have something in the background which
Yep.
gets you the bread and butter. If you have all of this, which worked out very good in my favor, I would suggest that then you can enter this market and start exploring it. So let's say you're
Mm.
doing a job, for example. Start off with your job with this. You don't need.
True.
There are a lot of automations in hydroponics, so you don't really need to invest all your time in this,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So you need like 2 hours a day, maybe, and you can do it along with your job or with your existing business. And once you're comfortable in this
Mm.
entire scenario, once you're comfortable with your market, once you're comfortable with everything, only then invest big and go big.
Yep. Very good point. Very valid point. Definitely, it will help newcomers. And thank you so much for joining and giving so many valid points. And also, if somebody asks any questions, we'll definitely come back and maybe answer those questions later.
For
So
sure,
thanks a
sir.
lot,
For sure.
Anmol.
Thank you, sir. It was really nice catching up with you
Yeah.
again. And thank you, everybody who's watching this.